Hi, my name is Amanda, and I'm a recently certified music therapist. And this is the second video in the series we're doing about taking the CBMT. So this one is all about test taking strategies. How do you study? What do you study? What do you write on your cheat sheet? All that kind of stuff. So first of all, I was going to start with how I studied. So I studied by using a lot of Quizlets, by reading through the documents linked in the last video, taking notes, and then making my own Quizlets off of them. There already are some Quizlets on those out there, but I found it helpful to make my own note cards because that helped me to just kind of remember the information better. Doing practice tests, especially the free ones that you can find by Googling CBMT practice test free and just kind of checking out some of those links. A lot of Quizlets have good questions you can practice with. And honestly, what I would do, I would practice writing out my cheat sheet many times over. And when I took a practice test, I would do that, time myself. And then as I went through each question, I split things up into easy, medium, and hard. And I wrote down a question number. Each question number got put in a category. And that way, depending on how much time I had at the end of my practice exam, I could go back and I could focus on just the hard ones first. And if I have time, then go back for the medium ones and things like that. I also studied by reading, just trying to review textbooks that I had, things like that. I tried to find any videos, even like non-music therapy videos, reviewing a lot of theory things, reviewing psychology things, reviewing terms, reviewing definitions, any of that. And future videos are going to have some music therapy specific studying sessions almost. But yeah, that's pretty much how I studied. What did I write on my cheat sheet? For that, I pretty much went off of this image here, and I have to say that almost everything I'm talking about, I have resourced from other people, from the Facebook study group, from just doing Google searches. I wish I could link everybody that I pulled this from, but honestly, I don't even know where this is from. It's just like a conglomeration of all sorts of random thoughts and ideas and opinions that people had that they gave me. So shout out to everybody. But yeah, so starting with the sheet that I made, and obviously you don't have to follow this at all. This is just what helped me. I had the different keys, key of C, key of B flat, E flat, and F. I'd written out a couple different rhythms to remember what those might be. I'd used lots of different examples of composers and their labels of, Baroque, classical, romantic, minimalist, all that stuff. Writing down for the different PDFs that I linked last time from the CBMT and from the AMTA. Writing down evidence-based practice for treatment planning, talking about expertise, best available research, and focusing on the client's values, preferences, culture, and needs. Writing down SMART goals also for treatment planning: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound. That's just something you have to memorize. For me, memorizing means repeating it a million times. If it helps you make up a song about it, you're about to be a music therapist. Go make a song about it if that's what helps you. Writing down the therapeutic process. So it's referral, assessment, treatment plan, implementation, documentation, termination. For me, it helped me to think rat, idiot, which is sort of what it sounds like if you use a mnemonic. So rat, idiot, RATIDT. That is what helped me. Thinking about the open tunings. Again, just make up silly phrases that you remember. For me, we have, of course, Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie for the standard guitar tuning. We have for open G guitar tuning. In my mind, that was Dog Gets Dynamite, Goodbye Dog. Just make up whatever works for you. Standard ukulele tuning, good cows eat anything. Modal D tuning, dad-gad, open D tuning, DAD, F sharp AD, modal G. I don't remember what I had for that one. But yeah, just making up any like random phrases that you can. Modes. Okay, I was so worried about modes, and honestly, I think there's like 2 questions about modes. So like, don't stress yourself out. For me, it was important to remember the order of the modes, and for my own memory, that was I don't particularly like modes a lot, which is, of course, Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. Remembering the pentatonic scale. Remembering music-based termination. You want it to have expression, to be vitalistic, and be a product. Just, some bullet points with that. Writing down Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Writing down domains. Writing down stages of cognitive development. And then remembering the 6 parts of the scope of practice. And then I had a lot on there about different lenses of music therapy practice. So talking about NMT, knowing a couple of different techniques that I could recall off the top of my head, just being familiar with that, and so on. So a lot of this I'm hoping to cover in future videos by topic, by section, but this is just an overview of what I had on my sheet. And again, there's a lot of really great examples of different people's cheat sheets in the Facebook group. Definitely use that. I also drew a keyboard on mine. I don't know why it's not on this one, but I did have a keyboard. Circle of fifths, of course, can't forget that. So now talking about some specific test-taking strategies. We're walking through it. I got 11 different ones here. So if something works for you, great, use it. If not, just forget it. Try it out on a practice test, even just a couple practice questions, and see where it gets you. Okay, so first, when you're checking answers, if there's something that I'm particularly stuck on, like a question I'm having a hard time with, I would flip over to the back sheet of my cheat sheet, and I would write down the number of the question, and then I just do A, B, C, D, and then I would cross out whichever ones I knew were incorrect, which brings me to the second one, eliminating answers. If it's not correct, narrow it down for yourself, okay? You don't need all 4 options freaking you out. Usually there's at least 1 or 2 that you're like, that's not it. So just cross it out. Again, there's really not space to do this for every single question, but if there's one that you're having a hard time with, go for it. That's a way to do it. And then you also have a list of questions that you really want to double check there, in addition to grading them between easy, medium, and hard, like in this graphic. Okay, number 3, looking for keywords. This is huge. You want to understand what they're asking in the question, right? And so one way to do that is to look for keywords. Usually you have things like immediately, first, generalized, and those are clues to help you understand what answer they're looking for. Okay, number 4, changing answers. Your gut is usually right. So unless you're going back through and you're looking at your answers and you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, how could I have chosen that answer? Like, based on reading my question now, like, that's not even what they're asking. Unless you realize something that makes you 100% sure, well, we'll say like 80% sure that you're viewing the question in a new way, don't change your answer. Okay? Only if you're like understanding it in a different way that you believe is more correct should you change your answer. Okay? If you're like just going off your gut, trust your gut. Okay. Number 5, internship. So often taking this test, you're right out of internship, you've had a lot of clinical time, and you're thinking to yourself, you get to a question and it reminds you of a client or patient you might have had. Get that out of your head, honestly. Like, yes, you've had that experience, but you've only had that one experience. And the people who wrote this test, they don't know that experience. So what you need to be focusing on is not, what did I do with a patient like this? Just throw that out. Think to yourself, textbook, what is the question asking? And textbook, what would my answer be? Because sometimes you get so caught up in thinking about like, oh, I had a patient like that and this is what I did, that you end up answering the question incorrectly because you're not even realizing what the question's asking anymore because you're too caught up in your own experience. Number 6, prioritizing the client. Always prioritize client need and client safety. Number 7, taking breaks. It's good to take breaks. For me, I was honestly too nervous to get up and take a break because I just was not feeling that. So I did a number of just like stretching in my seat, trying to, wake my brain up a little bit, stuff like that. But you can get up, you can go out and get a drink of water, as long as it's good with your test proctor and everything like that. And they'll explain all of that to you beforehand. Get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, give yourself a little break, okay? Okay, number 8, when it comes to supervisor roles, don't just assume a supervisor is a music therapist unless it says they're a music therapist. I know right now you're kind of getting a lot caught up into the music therapy world, and so it's easy to just assume that when they're talking about a supervisor, it is a music therapist, but there might be questions asking about a supervisor's actions or something like that, and they might not be a music therapist, which would change your answer. So make sure you're reading the whole question, taking that into account. All right, 3 more. Number 9, the night before, don't cram. Do like a light review and then just do something fun to get your mind off of it. Go to sleep, get some good rest, okay? Don't be trying to cram the night before. It's just going to stress you out and it's not going to be helpful to you. For me, so yeah, I did a little light review the night before. Then I think I like watched a movie with my family or something, just take the stress off. And then the morning of, I slept in. I just tried to take it easy that morning, do something relaxing for me. And then I did do like a very, very light review of just going over my cheat sheet, making sure I was confident that I felt like I had everything I needed to write down on my cheat sheet in my head. And that's all that I reviewed the morning of. So mind frame when you're reading a question. Beyond looking for keywords, what you want to be looking for is diagnosis, problem, and goal. What are they asking in this question? Usually, it's not what you think the first time you read the question. So make sure you are reading it a couple times, slowing down, and really thinking diagnosis, problem, goal. What are they asking? And lastly, all I can say is try to stay positive. I know this is like the most cliche thing and most annoying thing ever, but if you try to just stay positive, have that confident mindset, do a little power pose, get your pump up music going in the car beforehand. Again, just remembering that you can do this, that you are capable of doing this. You've had all this training and this experience leading up to this moment, and you are so capable. You are made for greatness. So just get out there and crush it.